Welcome. Thank you for joining us for this live stream Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northfield. My name is Naomi Estes-Tullo, and my husband Pat and I have been happy, grateful members with UUFN for many memorable years. UUFN is an inclusive community that nurtures spiritual and intellectual growth and fosters ethical and social responsibility. We're grateful to be gathering both online and in person today, and we extend a warm welcome to everyone, both on Zoom and in the sanctuary. If you are a visitor, we are glad you are with us, and we invite you to stay after the service to get acquainted. We welcome your questions and look forward to hearing about you. We are mindful that we gather today with different needs. Whatever brings you here, you are welcome to come as you are and take what feeds you. Please know that technical difficulties may arise, yet we offer our best efforts, not with the goal of perfection, but to allow us to connect with one another while keeping our community safe. Welcome to the Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northfield. Really is wonderful to be able to have Rosemary with us today. Thank you, Rosemary, for your absolutely beautiful music. Our opening words are In Celebration of the Winter Solstice by Stephanie Noble. Do not be afraid of the darkness. Dark is the rich, fertile earth that cradles the seed, nourishing growth. Dark is the soft night that cradles us to rest. Only in darkness can stars shine across the vastness of space. Only in darkness Is the moon's dance so clear? There is mystery woven in the dark hours. There is magic in the darkness. Do not be afraid. We are born of this magic. It fills our dreams that root, unravel, and reweave themselves in the shelter of the deep, dark night. The dark has its own hue, its own resonance, its own breath. It fills our soul, not with despair, but with promise. Dark is the gestation of our deep and knowing self. Dark is the cave where we rest and renew our soul. We are born of the darkness, and each night we return to the deep, moist womb of our beginnings. Do not be afraid of the darkness, for in the depth of that very darkness comes a first glimpse of our own light, the pure inner light of love and knowing. As it glows and grows, the darkness recedes. As we shed our life, we shed our light, we shed our fear, and revel in the wonder of all that is revealed. So do not rush the coming of the sun. Do not crave the lengthening of the day. Celebrate the darkness, here and now. Time of richness, a time of joy. Come, let us embrace the darkness of the longest night and worship together.
Spirit of the East, spirit of air, of morning and springtime, be with us as the sun rises in times of beginning, times of planting. Inspire us with the fresh breath of courage as we go forth into new adventures.
Spirit of the South, spirit of fire, of noontime and summer, be with us through the heat of the day and help us to be ever growing. Warm us with strength and energy for the work that awaits us.
Spirit of the West, spirit of water, of evening and autumn, be with us as the sun sets and help us to enjoy a rich harvest. Flow through us with a cooling, healing quiet and bring us peace.
Spirit of the North, spirit of earth, of nighttime and winter, be with us in the darkness and in the time of gestation. Ground us in the wisdom of the changing seasons as we celebrate the spiraling journey of our lives. For the chalice lighting, we have words by Maggie Beaumont. We light this chalice to honor air and our holy breath, to honor fire and the warmth of our hearts, to honor water and the blood that courses in our veins, to honor earth and the beauty of our sacred bodies, and to invoke the spirit of this beloved community.
Light a candle, sing a song, say that the shadows shall not cross, make an oblation out of all you've lost in the longest night. Gather friends, cast your hopes into the fire as it snows. Stare at God through the dark windows of the longest night of the year. If you're waiting for the sun drums, bells and horns. Come in silence, come forlorn. Come like a miner to the door of the longest night. Deep in the stillness, deep in the cold, deep in the darkness, the miner knows that there is a diamond in the soul of the longest night of the year. A night that seems like a lifetime if you're waiting for the sun. So why not sing to the nighttime and the burning stars up above? Maybe peace hides in a storm. Maybe winter's heart is warm. Maybe light itself is born in the longest night. In the longest night.
Each week we gather, we carry the sorrows and celebrations of our own lives. If you have a joy or a sorrow you would like to share with the group, you can type it into the chat box and I will read it aloud for all those listening. For those in the sanctuary, you are invited to submit your joys and sorrows before services on our online forum. I will light a candle in all of the little joys that are sustaining us. I will light another candle in honor of the sorrows and hardships we might be carrying. I will light one more candle in honor of all of the joys and sorrows we carry in our hearts that have not been spoken aloud. We will share a moment of silence together. Some of us will experience this silence as a time for prayer, some as a time for meditation, and some simply as a time to honor what has been said and left unsaid. I invite you into a silence of your understanding, holding our own lives and the world in our hearts. Spirit of life, we seek comfort in the quiet and the darkness, away from the blazing Yule and the blinking lights. In this space, may we find ourselves once again. May we give ourselves permission to be ourselves, perfect in our imperfections, carrying all that we carry, vulnerable, real, and true. May we experience here for a time our true feelings rather than some prepackaged holiday happiness, knowing that here we are safe Here we are nurtured. Here we are loved. May this be a time of renewal for our tired, aching souls, so that we may be fortified for the days ahead. We pray these things in the name of all that is holy and in all the holy names. Amen and blessed be. And we hear more words of blessing from our choir, Dark of Winter.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me.
Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me. And then my soul may hear a voice, the still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Our story today is the most lovely adaptation of Winter Solstice, A Celebration of Darkness, written, illustrated, and narrated by Stephanie Noble. I invite you to settle in for this gentle solstice tale.
In celebration of the winter solstice. Why be afraid of the darkness? Dark is the rich, fertile earth that cradles the seed, nourishing growth. Dark is the soft night that cradles us to rest. Only in darkness can stars shine across the vastness of space. Only in darkness is the moon's dance so clear. There is mystery woven in the dark, quiet hours. There is magic in the darkness. We are born of this magic, and each night we return to the deep, moist womb of our beginnings. Darkness fills our dreams that root, unravel, and reweave themselves in the shelter of the deep, dark night. The dark has its own hue, its own resonance, its own breath. It fills our soul not with despair, but with promise. In the depth of darkness comes our first glimpse of our own light, the pure inner light of love and knowing. As it glows and grows, the darkness recedes. As we shed our light, we shed our fear and revel in the wonder of all that is revealed. So why rush the coming of the sun? Why crave the lengthening of the day? Celebrate the darkness here and now, a time of richness, a time of joy.
Happy solstice, everyone. Winter solstice is one of the most spiritually significant days of the year for me, and I know for many of you, and for Unitarian Universalists and pagans across the continent. Every year, I'm astounded at how its truths are showing up in my life in ways that are at once ancient and new. The winter solstice invites us to look inward to our own emerging truths and outward to the starry sky. This is the season of candles and metaphors. Advent, with its spiritual practice of waiting and preparing our hearts for what is about to be born into this world. Christmas, the birth of love embodied. Hanukkah, the ritual reenactment of the miracle of light that illuminated what was most sacred. Kwanzaa, a specifically African-American celebration of African harvest traditions, with 7 candles, a testament to Black culture and values. And solstice, when what is literally true and metaphorically true are one, when scientific truths and spiritual truths are the same. As a Unitarian Universalist, of course, I believe this is true every day, that there is no conflict between reason and religion, science and spirituality. But this truth is especially tangible during the winter solstice in Minnesota. For those of you in Minnesota, and I love that we have people gathered from all over, in Minnesota, scientifically, it is the longest day of the year. In Minnesota, on the actual solstice on Tuesday, the 21st, we will have only 8 hours and 46 minutes of daylight. Our night will be 15 hours and 14 minutes. On Wednesday, the 22nd, we will have 2 additional minutes of sweet, sweet daylight. The light growing each day until summer solstice when we have almost 7 more hours of daylight. Things are getting darker and darker, quieter and quieter until Tuesday, and then the light begins its return. Spiritually, solstice is, in the words of author Starhawk, a time to go inwards, to dream, to gestate new ideas. In darkness, the seeds take root and the new sprout pushes towards the light. We face our fears, release our despair, and open to those forces that can invoke inspiration. Solstice is a time to intentionally name and embody soul deep truths of darkness and light, winter and spring. Right now in Minnesota, the nights are long. The wind is cold and the seeds are frozen beneath the earth. We need to release our despair. Dennis Smith reflects this in his poem entitled, "I'm going back to Minnesota where sadness makes sense." Minnesota, where sadness makes sense. The poet is clearly saying this in a playful way, but there's more to it than that. "Oh, California," he says, "I know I'm strange. Too much light makes me nervous, at least in this land where the trees always bear green. I know something that doesn't die can't be beautiful. The poet asks, have you ever stood on a frozen lake, California? In this poem, Minnesota is a place not just of hot dishes and somewhat reserved communication styles, but where the very landscape itself invites us into relationship with the cycles of life. In sunny California, there's little chance to know what it feels like to stand on a frozen lake. But standing on a frozen lake lets us experience solitude, desolation, and harsh beauty without distraction. From the On Being podcast about Smith's poem, quote, there's a certain kind of exquisite sadness that can come with recognizing I'm part of the earth that goes through changing cycles of seasons. This exquisite sadness happens because everything changes, even joy is fleeting. There is always birth and death, growth and rest, creation and loss. The quote continues, of course, people in California have places for their sadness and have ways of understanding the cycle of life and death throughout the year. But this poem is holding a certain kind of tension to say it's worthwhile examining the idea that everything should be great all the time, that a circular nature to a year and a circular nature to the seasons and a circular nature to our experience of the world is worthwhile for understanding our place in the world. This echoes the language and the meaning of the sixth source of Unitarian Universalism. The sixth source that inspires us as UUs is spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions, which celebrate the sacred cycle of life and instruct us in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions, which celebrate the sacred cycle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. To live in harmony with the rhythms of nature means sometimes we rest, sometimes we wait, and then sometimes we grow and sometimes we blossom. The sacred circle of life includes us not only from birth to death, but season to season, day to day. Connecting deeply to both summer and winter, light and dark, heightens our experience of each. My first experience with winter solstice in a UU congregation many, many years ago was actually the opposite of this. It was only about banishing the dark and welcoming the light. The goal was to conquer darkness and move as quickly as possible to brilliant, blinding light. It was toxic positivity on a cosmic scale. What a disservice that approach does to the mystery and the magic of the night sky. What a disservice that does to racial justice work when our metaphors reinforce the idea that dark is bad, that darkness needs to be feared. What a disservice all of that does to the full experience of being human. Because darkness is the birthplace of hope. The seeds of our future are there even now. And there is more to living in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Solstice reminds us there is not only the dark, sacred night, but the bright, blessed day. The light is returning, which is certainly a message my pandemic exhausted spirit needs to hear. Exuberance and hope are on their way. The winter solstice invites us to stand by a frozen lake and throw our arms open wide as the earth tilts and our hearts quicken, and we know in our bones the promise of spring. I end with this blessing for each of you. Winter Solstice by Rebecca Parker. Perhaps for a moment, the typewriters will stop clicking, the wheels stop rolling, the computers desist from computing, and a hush will fall over the city. For an instant, in the stillness, the chiming of the celestial spheres will be heard as Earth hangs poised in the crystalline darkness and then gracefully tilts. Let there be a season when holiness is heard and the splendor of living is revealed. Stunned to stillness by beauty, we remember who we are and why we are here. There are inexplicable mysteries. We are not alone. In the universe, there moves a wild one whose gestures alter Earth's access towards love. In the immense darkness, everything spins with joy. The cosmos enfolds us. We are caught in a web of stars, cradled in a swaying embrace, rocked by the holy night, babes of the universe. Let this be a time we wake to life like spring wakes in the moment of winter solstice. Let this be a time we wake to life like spring wakes in the moment of winter solstice. May it be so. Amen, and happy solstice. And now Naomi will guide us in a Yule log meditation, that we may be stunned to stillness by beauty, that we may remember who we are and why we are here, that we may awaken to life. Naomi.
The Yule log has been an important part of the winter solstice celebration around the world. I want to take a few minutes to tell you about the history. The tradition is practiced in many countries, and so there are many legends that are associated with the origin. The most popular story of the Yule log dates back to the 12th century, although some insist it predates medieval times. It is most often said that it was originally a Nordic tradition. Yule is the name of the old winter solstice festivals in Scandinavia and other parts of Northern Europe. During the time that burning a Yule log began, it was not simply a tradition, but a necessary way of life. The peoples of this time had a firm belief in the metaphysical aspects of the world and practiced sacred traditions in order to harmoniously coexist with the land and the earth spirits. To usher in the new year, people would also burn Yule logs in order to burn away everything that had happened from the year before and to start anew and fresh. The Yule log was originally an entire tree that was carefully chosen and brought into the house with great ceremony. The act of acquiring this tree was considered to be a sacred tradition, and the ceremony was held in high reverence. The largest end of the log would be placed into the fire hearth, while the rest of the tree stuck out into the room. The log would be lit from the remains of the previous year's log, which had been carefully stored away and slowly fed into the fire. The remains of the burned Yule log were useful for medicinal purposes, to ward off evil spirits, and as fertilizer for plants. But if you simply threw the ashes out, was supposedly very, very unlucky. When Christianity became popularized, the Yule log tradition was adopted, but on a much smaller scale. The Yule log came to symbolize the emergence of the sun. And of course, then sometime during the late 19th century, the French created the edible Yule log. A chocolate Yule log is now a popular Christmas dessert or pudding. As I was thinking about the solstice this year, with all we have been through, the idea of being able to sit together in a large circle around a fire was very appealing to me. It's not very practical given how cold it has become now or the ongoing concerns about COVID, but the longing and the vision stayed with me. So I decided to create a guided meditation that we could share in an imagined circle around an imagined fire. This is an eyes open meditation. If that doesn't work for you, you can close your eyes at any time or open them again at any time. This is your meditation.
Take a long, slow breath and let your eyes relax in a soft gaze at the fire. As you gaze into the flames, imagine that you are sitting outdoors in the dark of night in a large circle within a larger circle of ancient stones. You are warm, safe, and comfortable, sitting among people you love and trust. You are here to share a winter solstice Yule log. Gently deepen and slow your breath. Relax into the fullness as your chest lifts and then lowers as you exhale. Repeat this deeper, slower breath a few times, feeling it move through your whole body, in and out. Continue to watch the flames. Gently scan your body and look for places where you feel tightness or discomfort. Gently breathe into the tightness, hold, and slowly release the breath. Open your mouth as you exhale if that's comfortable for you. Repeat this deep, slow breath into the same spot, or move to another if that feels okay to you. As you breathe out, send the tension into the flames. If thoughts come up, just let them pass by. No need to engage with them, or push them away, or judge yourself in any way. Just notice the thoughts and allow them to come and then drift away. Simply remain still and gaze into the flames. Keep your eyes still and focused on the flickering light without looking around. This will enhance your experience. If your eyes start to burn, slowly blink. If they continue to burn, simply close your eyes and imagine seeing the flames with your mind's eye. Watch the flames move and wave and listen to the crackle and the snap. Allow your breath to continue slowly and deeply. Let yourself be mesmerized by the fire, fascinated by the dance of the flames. Imagine the smell of the smoke in a harmless, earthy scent. Sink deeper into the flames. Feel the heat softly spread into your body as the flames continue to flicker. Allow that flickering feeling to fill you. Breathe more deeply and feel the warmth of a fire on your skin, massaging and soothing away any tension in your body. As the warmth builds, feel it connect with your energy and let it support you. Slowly feel yourself merging with the flames as you become the fire and enjoy the freedom of the untamed movements. Breathe deeply as you enter the dance of the flames. Bring the heat of the fire into your belly and feel it spread and deepen. Allow the fire to transform and purify any negativity held there. When you are ready, take a slow, deep breath in and exhale hard and fast with your mouth open with a sound. Continue to watch the flames. Again, inhale slowly, hold, and from deep in your belly, exhale hard and fast, again with your mouth open. Slowly inhale once again, but this time, move the heat up to your solar plexus on the exhale. Still eyes on the flames. From the solar plexus in the center of your chest, inhale slowly, hold, and one last time exhale hard and fast through your open mouth. Then relax and return to slow, deep breaths and allow the heat of the flames to melt away anything that no longer serves you. And then gently close your eyes.
One of the lessons of the longest night and the darkest day, that is the winter solstice, is to let yourself rest in the peace of the darkness. Let the energies of new life and inspiration build slowly within you, and by spring, you will be bursting with renewed spirit and ideas. This follows nature's rhythms and cycles. Nurture yourself with compassion, rest, and reflection until the rebirth of the light. Gently move your hands and fingers. Stretch your legs and ankles. Roll your shoulders and gently stretch your neck from side to side and forward and back. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
A fire is burning the long night draws near. All who need comfort are welcome by here. We'll dance 'neath the stars and toast the past year, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. We'll count all our blessings while the mother lays down, with snow as her blanket covering the ground. Thanks to the mother for the life that she brings. She'll waken to warm us again in the spring. The poor and the hungry, the sick and the lost, these are our children, no matter the cost. Come by the fire, the harvest to share, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. A fire is burning, the long night draws near. All who need comfort are welcome by here. We'll dance 'neath the stars and toast the past year, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. The spirit of solstice is still living here.
We come back to Earth now, and we turn our attention now to the wider world as we take our offertory. Our recipient this month is Northfield's Community Action Center. The mission of the center is to promote a healthy, caring, and just community for all people through resources, advocacy, and volunteer effort. During December, CAC runs its Operation Joy program, which seeks to provide a joyful holiday experience for all children in Northfield. Operation Joy provides holiday gifts to over 900 children each year. Imagine how much joy that creates in the world. You may contribute now online by going to our website, uufnnorthfield.org, clicking on the yellow donate button in the upper right-hand column, and then select Share the Plate. Or you can mail a check made payable to UUFN with offering basket written in the memo line. Separate checks marked UUFN Pledge are also always welcome. If you are at our church building, please put cash or a check, again made out to UUFN with offering basket on the memo line in the basket. As always, thank you for giving as you are able. Please join us in singing or humming our final hymn, Spirit of Life.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Spirit of the North, we thank you. Ground us in the wisdom of the changing seasons as we celebrate the spiraling journey of our lives.
Spirit of the West, we thank you. Flow through us with a cooling, healing quiet, and bring us peace.
Spirit of the South, we thank you. Warm us with strength and energy for the work that awaits us.
Spirit of the East, we thank you. Inspire us with the fresh breath of courage as we go forth into new adventures.
And we go in peace. Happy solstice.